I was supposed to be off today, but I picked up a shift of only 4 hours in length after I modified it because I wanted the extra cash because on the last week of December I had to spend a little extra on some stuff. So I said to myself, just to keep myself on the same wave, on the same rhythm, I'm going to pick up those extra couple of hours. And I kept thinking about this shift because it started slightly earlier than I'm used to. And I kept thinking about it and thinking about it and thinking about it. Like I could just sense that something wasn't gonna work out. Originally, this could have been an 8 hour shift, but then it was bumped down to 7 hours to make it more enticing. And then ultimately, I said, I can do 4 hours, take me or leave me. Well, when the schedule officially executed, it turns out that they had put me down for it. I was like, don't fuck with me, don't play with me. I said 4 hours, not five, not five and a quarter, not six, not seven, fix it. So I got I got into a mini fight with my manager because he said that the other manager, his assistant that I told this to, didn't mention that at all. And I said, well, honey, unfortunately for you, there is handwritten evidence by yours truly. I saw where she tossed it and that trash hasn't been thrown out. I am going to dig into that trash can and pull up that handwritten note I made of how ZAM could work this day under the circumstance that these hours instead are supplied. And I started heading toward the trash can. I had gloves on, of course. Started to like push things around, and I was looking at the note like wherever it was, and I'm like, I'm about to reach it. And he was like, okay, well, you don't have to do any of that. And I'm like, oh, I want to do this. You know that I want to do this. I like to talk with evidence on my hand. Ultimately, I didn't dig it up because he knows that customarily, if you call me in and I wasn't pre-scheduled for this, I don't customarily work longer than 2 hours. I like to supply labor for like emergencies to like cover breaks, cover lunches, whatever. I can suck it up because I'm pretty much off. Now, if I agree for a 4 hour shift, it is 4 hours, period. Because usually I don't get to leave after the 4 hours are up. Some bullshit happens to where I end up staying longer than expected. And I can't do that. My days doing that are over. And I was like, well, the reason I'm asking is because when the schedule posted, I saw that the shift was available, but it wasn't under my name. So I just want to see if the computer shows that I have a shift. The computer did show that I was scheduled. It just hadn't been executed yet. But the schedule was still wrong. Once again, I said, fix that or eliminate it entirely. My manager was like, can you really not stay for the 5 hours? And I said, no, it's my day off. I'm not supposed to be here at all. You get it? He wanted to trim it by half an hour. And I said, an hour shorter, take me or leave me. He was like, can you really not stay for the extra half hour? And I said, no. How about this? 15 minutes. 4 hours, 15 minutes. That's it. So come today. It turns out another thing, this is my manager who I have told you guys is also my friend. He was like, I mean, I'm going to be here. And I'm like, and is that supposed to be enticing, tempting, motivating, inspiring, irresistible, alluring, any of those things? And he was like, well, yeah. And I'm like, don't care. No, can't do it. 4 hours, 4 and 15. So that's what I committed to. Well, come today, guess what? He called out and I ended up still not leaving on time. And this is exactly why I wanted to be scheduled for no later than like 4 or 4 hours and 15 minutes, because even when I'm off and I pick up a shift as a favor, I never get to leave on fucking time. There's always something happening that pushes me back. So today, what happened was somebody needed a break, so I ended up covering that. And today, the original manager I had this conversation with was asking me if I could stay. And she was like, "You probably know what I'm getting ready to ask." And I just said, "No." And she was like, "Okay." And I'm like, "Do you just need like 30-minute coverage so that you can do some admin work?" And she said, "Well, given what kind of day is today, this is one of those days when admin work takes me a little longer than the 20 or 30 minutes compared to some other days, because they have patterns on their schedule. Like weekdays, usually they have some stuff that's more time consuming. And then over the weekend, like Saturdays and Sundays, they actually don't have admin work for the department to do like that. Like whatever they have to do is just incidental polishing here and there, but it's not like they're actually behaving as admin workers." Then I said, "Okay, I'm still gonna leave at my agreed time, meaning after 4 hours and 15 minutes, but I'm willing to change the task I'm currently working on so that I can cover you up front and you can get your stuff started." But yeah, you guys, this is the kind of stuff that I'm talking about. It's one of those things where you show up and you're expecting something. You had an agreement that it's gonna go the way it's gonna go, and it's really hard to commit to anything in a place like that, because it takes one little factor, just one little thing, whether controllable or uncontrollable, human or non-human, to fuck it up. And that's why I defend my position as much as possible. I'm sorry, at the time that we agreed to do this, I had plans in advance with what I have to do for the rest of the day, and some of this shit I just cannot delay it. And I also need to manage my home. I don't get help with that. You know what I mean? It's one of those things that I'm glad that I have the confidence now to defend that, as opposed to in the past when I could literally be a little bit intimidated into doing more than I'm supposed to. And I'm like, no, the fact that I showed up today on my day off at all is already good enough. I didn't have to be here at all, but I was. So I don't care how little this means to you, how ungrateful you are, or how it didn't work out quite like we hoped it would when we planned for this weeks ago. But just understand that in the same manner that y'all can feel disappointment, I can feel disappointment. Just let me be balanced out. So in the end, it worked out. I stayed the extra 15 minutes, and I was happy to stay those extra 15 minutes because, given the circumstances, it helped me cover someone going to the bathroom and cover someone getting a break. I will never walk out on someone who needs a break. That is a human factor, and I can defend it. And I know what it's like to have to be pushed back on your break that you have a total right to, because shit's happening and coverage is bad. So that I'm willing to do. I can negotiate that. In general, demanding extra labor from me on my day off, on my day that I wasn't supposed to be there, when I'm doing y'all a favor and y'all want to complicate that favor? No. And in the end, I got nothing extra for this. I'm just gonna see the same way that I get paid regularly, like my regular wage. That's it. Now, if you would have, I don't know, threw in there a little bonus of some sort, then sure, I could have considered extending my shift a little bit more. But as a part-timer with no benefits, it's just not fair. I thought I would share this with you guys so that if you ever wonder why my attitude about my position and my circumstance is the way it is, consider those little factors. And this is stuff that I tell the younger people we hire too. I'm like, so sure, you got energy, you got all this, you got all that, you are excited about the place, you like it, you're new, you haven't figured out the patterns here yet, whatever. But just so you know, I have seen some of this, I have experienced some of this. I know how this is gonna go, and protect yourself. Take care of yourself. All right? All right. Well, there you guys have it. That's it for me. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is more of a log for myself, just to tell the story that this happened the way it happened. I wasn't struggling too bad this morning getting up and getting there, but it was really cold. And when it gets really cold, I just like to be all comfy at home. And yeah, we'll see if the weather turns bad. It's supposed to happen, like really cold, or they're calling for freezing rain here and there. And I'm like, the sun is out. And the clouds that I'm seeing, they don't look like they're loaded. There's more sun than clouds. I don't believe you.